Good afternoon, family. If you're coming on, I want you to hit that like button, hit that share button, tag Lolly Dolly, everybody. Let them know. Prophet Ramone Preston and the Ramone Preston Show is live today. We are excited about answering some common questions about holding companies. So if you have any questions, if you have had any interest in holding companies, we're going to talk about that a little bit today. We're going to answer some common questions regarding holding companies and any other question that you have. So if you're coming on, good afternoon. Welcome to the Ramone Preston Show. I am your host, Ramone Preston, and if you don't know, you need to know, we come to you every Monday through Friday. Every Monday through Friday, 12 o'clock noon, sharing with you the most important information that we believe is relative to biblical economics, information that's centered around financial literacy, entrepreneurship, business ownership, investments, and family legacy wealth building. We talk about it all. That's what my assignment is, at least in this season, to heighten my people's awareness, to educate you, to inform you, to motivate you, to inspire you, but to make sure that you're being empowered and informed with information that can change and transform your economic life. As an entrepreneur of over 18 years, I'm talking about full-time entrepreneur. That's what I do every day, every week, every month of every year. I am a full-time entrepreneur. And as a full-time entrepreneur, I know that it's very important for our community, for our people, to be exposed to the right information. So that's what we do every Monday through Friday on the Ramone Preston Show. And we are celebrating our first 8 weeks on our show Monday through Friday. And I've had such a tremendous response. Thank all of you, my Facebook tribe members, my YouTube tribe members. If you're watching from any other platform, Twitch, Periscope, Twitter, if you were Elon Musk on Mars, I want to thank you for participating and engaging in the Ramone Preston Show every Monday through Friday. Today, I want to answer some of the common questions that we have about holding companies. Now, if you have a question about holding companies, or if you've heard about it and you just didn't understand enough about it, and you just looking to find more information and insight about holding companies, here's what I want you to do. I'm gonna change the game up a little bit today. My PA, she's enjoying herself, so I don't want to put her to work. She's supposed to be on her vacay. Blessings to you, daughter. But if you have any questions, regarding holding companies, any questions regarding anything that I talk about, but more specifically today, if you have any questions regarding holding companies, here's what I want you to do. I want you to drop that question in the comments, or I want you to call me directly. Now, keep in mind, if you call me directly, I'm going to answer the phone while we're on the live, which means everybody going to hear you. So don't call me tripping and don't call me capping. If you want to call and ask your question on the live show, here's what I want you to do. I want you to dial 678-922-1963. That's my personal line, 678-922-1963, extension 1. Typically, I would have you to call our other office number, but my personal assistant will answer it. But if you call her today, I'm not going to be able to answer the phone because she's going to have to three-way me just to answer the question. So if you want to call in directly to my office, dial 678-922-1963, extension 1. Daughter, if you're listening to me, you can put that in the comments. If you have a question that you want to ask while we're on the live show today, dial 678-922-1963 and push extension number 1. If you push extension number 1, it's going to reroute to my personal phone, which is in front of me, and I will answer any question that you have regarding holding companies or regarding anything that's centered around what we talk about. Good afternoon, Ursula. Daughter, love you, appreciate you. Shout out to all of my Facebook tribe members, all of you that support us, that have continued to engage in our show Monday through Friday at 12 o'clock every day for the last 8 weeks. Thank you so much. My YouTube family, y'all listen. Let me share something with y'all. That YouTube family acting a fool. Y'all are really doing an amazing job. I mean, we get the best responses on YouTube. I got to be honest with y'all. We get the best responses on YouTube. Literally every day, somebody from YouTube is either calling us, somebody from YouTube is either sending us an email, somebody from YouTube is either reaching out to us through a text, or just commenting on one of the videos or some of the videos that they're watching. So if you're watching from YouTube right now, especially if you're on the live show, I want to thank you so much for your continued support and for continuing to engage on the level that you're engaging. Again, if you have any questions that you want to ask, I am answering common questions today about holding companies. It has been by far, just within the first 8 weeks of our show, it has been by far the most talked about and the most sought out topic that we have discussed on our show within the first 8 weeks. Think about it, 8 weeks times 5 days a week. We're talking about 40 shows that we have covered on the Ramone Preston show. Remember, we had a few shows that we covered prior to officially launching the show, but we're over 40 shows in within the last couple months, and almost all of the responses that we have gotten from almost 40 shows or over 40 shows, almost all the responses that we've gotten, at least 90% of the responses that we have gotten from the show, that means the comments we get, that means the emails we get, the text messages, the phone calls, almost all of the responses that we have gotten from our show after over 40 shows within the last few months since we've launched this show have been centered around the holding company. And so because this week I'm preparing to get away for a vacation, to unwind, to unplug, and my PA, she's on vacation this week. So next week, we may not even be hosting a live show Monday through Friday, and we'll resume the week of the 29th. So because of that, I wanted to take a few days today to kind of give an overview of some of our most popular shows. Yesterday, we talked about our blueprint game plan. So today, I want to talk about some of the common questions that we have had about holding companies. Again, if you have a question, I want you to call in. Dial the number 678-922-1963 and push the extension 1 button. Don't call me capping, and you definitely better not call me tripping and acting a fool, because I'm blasting you on air on this public platform. So I don't take that kind of stuff with a grain of salt. If you come for me, I'm coming for you. Nevertheless, if you got a question, go ahead and ask the question and call me. Now, before we get into this discussion, because I have a few common questions that I wrote down, just going back, looking at some of the questions that we've gotten, looking at some of the shows that we have hosted within the last 8 weeks, and looking at a lot of the comments that we've gotten, a lot of the emails that we've gotten. I tried to find the most common questions about holding companies, because it seems like it is a topic that most people who are small business owners, who are entrepreneurs, who are solopreneurs, who might be self-employed, or most people who are just in the workforce trying to figure out how they can develop a side hustle and build a business. Most of these people, which may represent some of you or most of you or all of you that are watching, most people don't have access to the information about holding companies. They don't really understand the dynamics of it, and they don't get it. And so I'm thankful that I do have the information. I have a holding company. I have started and structured several, I mean countless holding companies. That's a part of my job as a consultant, to help people start and structure their holding companies. But before I get into my first question and the few questions that I want to cover today, I want to give y'all a kind of like a praise report or a testimony. And it's really a testimony to your support, to show you how important it is for you to continue to support shows like this and platforms like this, where somebody in my position as a faith leader, as a prophetic pillar in the Christian community, how important it is for someone like me to be sharing this type of information, to really empower you and educate you and inform you and enlighten you and help you get to your economic next level. So yesterday after the show, I'm sitting here at my desk and I'm going over some work like I always do, just waiting to make sure that I cover all the responses that we get from the show, from all of the platforms, checking all of our accounts to make sure if we had any emails that came in, that we're responding to them, if we had any voice messages. And so I get a voice message. This is awesome, y'all. I want you to hear this. I get a voice message. And so I listen to the voice message, and it's a business person from California. And they left a message. They were trying to reach out to me. They were telling me that they were a couple hours behind. Of course, they're on the West Coast. I'm on the East Coast. And so I try to call back, and I don't get them. And so they send me an email, and they call me again, and they leave me a voicemail basically saying on the voicemail and on the email, hey, my name is such and such. I am a producer. I have an entertainment company. This is real, y'all. I ain't telling y'all no lie. I ain't capping. I'm located in California, and I'm a tech person. I'm a producer. I'm an entertainment business owner. Blah 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 blah. They tell me all of what they do, and they have been doing research on starting a holding company. And they have been watching some of our videos. They have been following me for a couple days or so. They just got introduced to me, and he just goes on about how good the information was, and he asks if he could pay for a consulting session. And I guess he'd been to our website, and he saw how much our consulting services cost, because our consulting services are high ticket items, because it takes a lot of work to sit down and consult an entrepreneur or an individual to help them flesh out a financial system or economic system or business system so that they can move forward. And so he said, basically, I just need maybe 30 minutes to an hour, and I'm willing to pay you for 30 minutes to an hour. I just have a few questions that I need answered. And if you could give me a call back and let me know how much it would cost, I would love to set up a consultation with you. So finally, after playing phone tag a few times, he calls back and I catch him and we start conversating. And so I go over our consulting services, I go over our coaching program, and I go over our blueprint game plan, which is our online system. And I'm basically telling him, hey, here's what we charge for our services. I don't have a problem charging you for consulting, but if you're not really familiar with how to run a holding company, this is what his question was about a holding company, it's still going to require you to get a training program like our Blueprint Game Plan. So I'm basically telling them, instead of you paying thousands of dollars for consulting, you might just need to pick up a Blueprint Game Plan and take your time and walk through it. And in the process, you can ask me any questions and I'll be more than happy to answer. I said, but if you just have one or two questions that you need me to answer, I was like, man, listen, we're on the phone. I don't have a problem answering them. You know, I'm not going to lose nothing just by being a blessing and answering a couple questions that you hung up on. So he asked me the questions. It was 2 or 3 questions. So a 2 or 3 minute conversation. My daughter, my personal assistant, she know how I am. I'll call people. I won't even be charging them, and I'll have a whole consultation session over the phone. I just feel like when you're giving people value, when you blessing people and you sowing those kind of seeds, it's always going to come back. The Bible says in Luke 6:38, give, and God will give back to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over. God will cause men to give into your bosom. So anyway, 25 or 30 minutes later, I answered all of the questions that he had, maybe 3 or 4 hard questions. He was just trying to figure it out. And when I got finished, he was like, man, listen, I just want you to know, I'm a very successful producer, entertainment company business owner. I'm here in California. I'm around a lot of tech people, a lot of multimillionaires that are doing big things. A lot of them pay hundreds of thousands and even millions of dollars to get their organization set up. And he was like, I just didn't want to waste a whole lot of money doing something that I just don't have personal knowledge about. That's why I wanted to find out myself how this whole thing works with holding companies, because a lot of businesses over there in California are set up with holding companies, the Googles, the Alphabets, the Facebooks, and all of the tech companies in Silicon Valley, and a lot of the entertainment companies in studios in Hollywood and in other areas of California. So to make a long story a little short, this is just a testimony, y'all, and a praise report to what this show is doing. To make a long story short, he basically said, if nobody tells you this, you doing it, man. You teaching people, you educating people. You have just literally opened my eyes up to so much. And he was like, and the fact that you did this and you didn't even charge me. You sat on the phone with me like I've done tons of times. But he says, because of what you've done, he says, I'm going to get your address, and I have a packet that I'm going to send you. And this packet is going to show you everything that I do, everything that we got going on over here. See, y'all gotta understand, sometimes you don't even know how them blessings going to show up, and it ain't always monetary blessings. And he said, listen, you ain't charged me. He says, but you could tell he's been watching me and watching our shows, because he said, I'm going to send you a couple Starbucks cards. Oh my God. You see that? So you know he's been watching the show. He said, I'm going to send you a couple Starbucks cards so you'll be good on your Starbucks. He says, but I'm going to also send you our packet and all of our information. He said, if there's anything you need as far as building your studio, as far as tech, oh my God, I can shout right now. He has no idea what we've been working on in our studio, what we've been working on with certain technology for our online virtual programs. And he says, if it's anything you need, just because you did what you did, he was like, man, I got you. I got you. You don't have to worry about nothing. And anytime you over in California, we're going to hook up, we're going to stay connected, and we're going to make some things happen together. So I wanted to share that with y'all, because that just happened. That's one of the many conversations I've had. That's one of the many connections I've made. That's one of the many opportunities that has been provided for me and for other people in my circle, just because of the Ramone Preston show that we host every Monday through Friday at 12 o'clock p.m. So I congratulate all of you for your support, especially all of y'all day ones that have always continued to support. You have no idea. You might have an idea, but you probably don't have an idea where we're headed. You have no idea where God is going to take us. I don't know it all, but I have enough of revelation and insight to know where we're headed. and where we're going. And when I say where we're headed and where we're going, I'm talking about us as a people, us as a tribe, because wherever I go, I'm taking my tribe with me. Wherever I go, I'm taking my family with me, and the opportunities that are always presented to me, I always figure out ways to present them to my people, which is why we hosting this show. A lot of this information that I'm sharing on this show, a lot of the information that I share through our blueprint game plan, and a lot of the things that I give to people who I know may not typically be able to afford these types of services if they went outside of a relationship that they know somebody who does it. I do this because I love people. I do this because I want my people to get that game and to succeed. And I don't really necessarily have to do it. I can continue to just cater to the people that pay us good to do what we do. So anyway, congratulations. That was the testimony of the day, and that was one of my March miracles. So I appreciate the Lord for that. Let's answer some common questions about holding companies. Again, if you got any questions, call me. Call me. Call me, 678. Call me, 678-922-1963, extension 1. 678-922-1963, extension 1. 678-922-1963, extension 1. I have a question on YouTube. The question is, how do I change my existing LLC to a holding company? The question is, how do I change my existing LLC to a holding company? Well, if you filed your LLC paperwork in your Secretary of State business filing portal, and you designated that company for a specific purpose, or if it was a certain option for you to categorize your LLC. Hold on for a minute, y'all. I got a call coming through.
Call for Ramone Preston.
We got our first call.
Press 1.
Hello? Hello?
Is this the show?
Yeah, what's up? How you doing?
Oh man, I can't believe I got on. Good afternoon, sir.
You are live on the Ramone Preston show, bro.
Oh man, this is cool.
Yeah, what's going on?
I'm glad I'm on. You said if I have a question about holding companies, I could ask you.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. What's your question?
So, my question is, do you believe I should start a holding company first, or irrevocable trust if I'm gonna try to protect all of my stuff in the highest level?
You should start a holding company. Irrevocable trust is good, but you're not gonna tie your holding company into an irrevocable trust when you're trying to build your business. Remember, a holding company is a business. You're trying to build your business. You're just structuring your business through the holding company concept so that you will have more flexibility and more leverage when you start building your businesses and your ideas out. So I would go with the holding company first, and then whatever you're going to be doing in terms of providing products and services to the market, you're going to create other LLCs or other companies that will be owned by your holding company so that they will become the operating companies or the subsidiaries. Once you start getting that bag on a whole nother level, you can always pay an attorney or a firm to structure a irrevocable trust or whatever type of trust for you, and they can decide based on their knowledge and expertise what aspects of your conglomerate, what aspects of your business enterprise needs to be added to your trust. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because if you start a trust and then you trying to put a business in a trust and then you starting all these other businesses, like you're working backwards Most people who start trusts are people who already have businesses, already have a whole lot of assets. They already have a foundation. Now they're just creating a trust and deciding what needs to go in that trust, what needs to be hidden, what needs to be protected. But as far as operating your business so that you can leverage it, a holding company is the first thing you want to do. Then the second thing you want to do is start your operating companies that will be owned by your holding company. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Right, since you're at it right now, let me just ask you this. I'm going to start the business right now. Would you say I start a holding company and an operating company at the same time, or start the business running it and then turn the business into a holding company?
No, I would start the holding company. Once you get your holding company EIN and your holding company operating, your holding company articles of organization, which means it's legitimately filed. Once you get that and you open up your holding company bank account, if there's certain business that you need to do through your holding company, you could still do business through it. It's just that if it's business that's going to create a liability, then you're going to go ahead and start your operating company. But you're going to need your paperwork first. You don't want to start a holding company and then go back into the system and then start an operating company. What if something comes back with that holding company that it don't go through? The name doesn't go through or something. So you wait until you got your EIN, you got your articles of organization, you got your bank account, which means your holding company is legit. Then you go back and start your operating company. And you don't always have to immediately start your operating company if what you're doing can operate as a division in your holding company. Got it? Does that make sense?
I think so. Except that last part. You're saying a division of the holding company. Okay, I get it.
Like, let me give you an example. I have a holding company, Ramone Preston Enterprises, right? Okay, that's my holding company. I'm a coach and I'm a consultant. I'm an educator. I'm a public speaker. I do a whole lot of things. If I do not start a separate coaching company, I can still provide coaching under my holding company, even if I don't have a coaching company operating.
Got it.
If my coaching becomes so big that I need to separate it because I want to hire more people and I don't want to expose my holding company to the liabilities and the risk of coaching people, then I start a separate LLC owned by my holding company just for the purpose of coaching.
Okay, I appreciate the value, sir. I didn't know you do this every day at 12. I was just on YouTube. I clicked on it. Now that I know, I'm going to tune in as much as I can, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. What's your name?
My name Christopher.
Christopher. All right, man. I appreciate you. Thank you for your support, all right?
Thank you for helping me. Have a good day, okay?
You too, bro. Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I know somebody called through while we were talking. I wanted to make sure that I answered the question. Whoever you are, if you're still watching and you called and couldn't get through, all right, they calling through now. Let me see who it is.
Call for Ramone Preston. To accept this call.
Hello?
Oh, I made it.
You made it. You made it. You made it. What's up?
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm awesome. What's your name?
My name is Monchelle. I'm calling from California.
Callie in the house.
Yes. So, I think I heard part of the question that I'm answering at the end of that gentleman's question. But, so I am, California is a bit expensive when it comes to business.
Yeah.
And I am just starting out. And my thoughts were I have two business plans that I want to begin with. But it almost seems like a DBA starting would possibly be best because I don't have much assets at this time. But my thoughts were if I go into these two DBAs and then after some time after a couple months I have written down, then begin an LLC, not with those DBAs, but with those as extensions of the LLC. Does that sound feasible?
No, and I'm going to tell you why. Doing a DBA, you're still putting yourself at risk. It's you doing business as. And if anything happens in that 2-month window, and you get sued or there's a liability issue, it's going to be on you, and your whole life is going to be exposed. So even if you don't have a whole lot of assets, if you're not making a lot of money, you might just be in the research and development phase of your business where you're starting to figure out what your products and services are going to be, who's your market. All of that is still a part of the business process. So you start your holding company, because what happens is when you don't do it right the first time, you always have to go back and do it right the next time, and it's going to cost you more, and you most likely are going to regret it. So let's say, for example, you could be working on a job. You can start your holding company, and even though there are 3 or 4 or 2, in your case, things that you want to do, which will be divisions of your holding company, these are things that you can do. For example, you can have holding company number 1, like Ramone, Preston Enterprises. That's my holding company. But I want to start a consulting firm, and I want to start a coaching business. So those are 2 separate.
That's exactly it.
Okay, see, I'm real good then. I'm prophetic too, right? So for example, I want to start, because I went through the same process. I want to start a coaching company, and I want to start a consulting firm. All right, well, the holding company can house my consulting services and my coaching services. All I have to do is minimize my risk and my liability by making sure I have the proper insurance. They have insurance policies that cover the words that come out of your mouth. So anything that I say as a consultant, as a coach, or as a preacher or prophet, all of my words are insured because they have insurance for that. So I can do that until I have a business that's making enough money that it justifies my coaching business becoming a separate LLC. And when that happens, my coaching business will be owned by my holding company, not by me. The game is for you to own one company, and for all the other companies that you start are owned by your one company. That gives you the ultimate control of all those businesses. But you never want to do the DBA. You never want to be a sole proprietor. You never want to do anything as an individual doing business as, because I know people who were making millions of dollars and were doing business as, especially in the real estate business. You could be a real estate agent and you could be out there making millions of dollars and become a broker and still make millions of dollars and still be doing business as an individual with another name. But when you go in the courthouse, the judge ain't gonna be like, oh, we're suing this business. No, we're suing you. You get what I'm saying?
You, yes.
So you do that, and even if you're not making money coaching or consulting, even if you're on a job, now you just minimize your tax liability because now you got business write-offs because you have a legitimate business. So now you start playing that tax strategy game by minimizing your tax liability on your job, by writing off certain deductions of your home office, traveling, your phone, all these bills that you're paying anyway. You can't just write them off just because you want to unless you are a business owner. So while you're working on it, go ahead.
When you started your LLC, so you're coaching, you're consulting, and maybe you sold some products, did they all have different names so they all can go under the same bank account? They all had different names because whatever name you're using to advertise a product or a service doesn't necessarily mean you got to have a whole business around it. It's just marketing. Got it. There are a lot of business out there you're doing business with. You're doing business with that name, and that name is not even a corporation.
That name is just a product. Like you go to a lot of websites that you do business with, and if you go to the bottom of that website is not even owned by that name. Because
you mentioned Facebook, and I remember Facebook, and then also Dave Ramsey. I noticed they do have different names, but then they trademark a bunch of their names that they're working under.
Yeah, you could trademark those names, but again, when you start trademarking those names, it's when those names have become legitimate brands, or you know they're gonna have a lot of big financial windfalls. But with what you're doing right now, as far as starting your business, you want to start your holding company, and you want to operate all your ideas through your holding company, and once they start taking shape and taking life, or once you start creating brands and marketing those brands that are all under your holding company, once they start getting some momentum, it's easy for you to just go and file paperwork for LLC for that particular business. Otherwise, you just leave it as a division and just make sure you have enough insurance to cover you if something happens with that particular business you're doing. Sounds good?
I did. Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
All right.
God bless you.
Bless you too. Have a good day. Thank you.
Okay, you too.
All right, bye. All right, y'all, we giving everybody some game. I know y'all just watching, but some of these questions that you might be hearing people ask are some of the common questions that people have. And a lot of people just don't know the answers to these questions. And somebody like me, I do, even though I teach this information. And even though I teach this information and I have all this information in my blueprint game plan, I use this same expertise when I'm coaching people, when I'm consulting people, but it don't hurt me to give some of this information away. These are people who gonna always remember me because I opened their minds up and their eyes up. It's no different than what I've done for 21 years as a prophet. Preaching to people and prophesying to people and laying hands and casting out devils. It's people I got delivered in 2000, the year 2000. It's people I prophesied to in the year 2000 when I first started ministry. It's people that I laid hands on and brought to the Lord. I brought them to Jesus, and 21 years later, they're still grateful to God that I did that. So I love what I do. So if you have any questions, please call 678 678-922-1963 extension 1. I'm about to give my real phone number out. I definitely don't need my real phone number jumping. Everybody gonna be calling me. I almost gave my real phone number out, y'all. 678-922-1963 extension 1. My spiritual daughter Latika S. Carter TV, she says, I love it. Christopher York on YouTube says, quality. Tierra Skies, she says, wonderful information, sir. I love it. So if you have any questions, all you got to do is call me, 678-922-1963 extension 1. Sooner than later, we'll have the technology where I could do like Dave Ramsey them doing and Susie Orman them doing. I can just click on a button and be like, you're on the air. Welcome to the Ramone Preston Show. It's coming, baby. Guess what? My grandma used to always tell me, Rome wasn't built in a day, dog. So you just do what you got to do until you can do what you want to do. You just missed it. I'm going to say it again, and it's for free. I say you got to do what you got to do until you can do what you want to do. So we're doing what we got to do. Here's the first question I wanted to answer. What is a holding company? That's a very common question we get. What is a holding company? A holding company is a legal entity that's filed like any other business. A holding company could be an LLC. A holding company could be an S Corp. A holding company could be a C Corp. It's a legal entity that you file and you categorize as a holding company. Some states have certain categorizations for the companies that you start. Like if you're starting a hair salon, there are certain categories that your hair salon is going to fall under. If you're starting a landscaping company, there are certain categories your landscaping company is going to fall under. If you're starting a construction business, there are certain categories your construction business is going to fall under. If you're starting payday lending, if you're starting a real estate company, if you're starting an insurance company, all of these different types of companies have certain industries that they're connected to. And when you file your LLC paperwork or your S Corp or your C Corp paperwork to incorporate your business, you have to choose what type of business this is going to be. Well, the holding company is a type of business. It is a concept that a lot of people use. More wealthy people use it, or major corporations use it because they understand it, or at least they have the money to pay people who understand it. What a holding company does primarily is it holds other companies. So unlike other typical businesses that are operating businesses, producing products and services and selling products and services on a daily basis, holding companies don't typically go into the market to provide or produce products and services. Holding companies typically stay in the backdrop, and they own or hold the ownership interests of other companies that are out there producing and providing products and services. And so even though it's easy to understand what a holding company is, but how it works and how you run the day-to-day operations of it, I think it is a learning curve that you have to educate yourself on. That's one of the reasons why I teach it in our Blueprint Game Plan. So if you need to learn more about a holding company, how to run the day-to-day operations of a holding company, I really want to encourage you to pick up our Blueprint Game Plan program that we have. I'll pull it up very quickly on my screen behind me, because a lot of people, they start holding companies. You could go to RamonePreston.com. If you go to RamonePreston.com, here's my main web portal. I'm showing you where you can go to find out more about this whole holding company thing and what we teach concerning it. If you go to RamonePreston.com, that's the website behind me. This is our main web portal. We have 6 or 7 or 8 different websites for our university, for our consulting group, for our network. We have a lot of different websites, but this is the easiest one to navigate you to wherever you need to go. If you go to RamonePreston.com, you will see that we have Blueprint Game Plan programs. These are the signature training programs that we use to educate you on holding companies and financial literacy and other things that are going to help you build wealth. If you click on one of our Blueprint Game Plan programs, it's going to pull up our university training platform, and it will show you all of the courses that are actually in our Blueprint Game Plan. One of the courses I want to show you is called Starting and Structuring a Holding Company. So I have a whole course centered around this holding company concept. And if you were to click on there, you can actually open up all the modules to see what you're going to learn in this one course among 20 courses in this one program that we have. I'm going to help you understand a holding company, leveraging a holding company, the power of a holding company, the 4 Ps of a holding company. I answer several questions on things you need to know about a holding company. We talk about the basics of business ownership and a holding company as a business. And then here we have a do-it-yourself business startup kit. So I have walkthrough tutorials. I have all the filing procedures, all the forms, all the operating agreements, links to your DUNS number, to other legal forms, to your corporation kit. I have an entire do-it-yourself startup kit. So literally, you can purchase this blueprint game plan and not only learn how to run a holding company, but you can start it yourself and save thousands and thousands of dollars. I have so many people who have purchased the blueprint game plan and who have just utilized this one resource, and it has changed their lives because guess what? They have holding companies set up and structured. So that's what a holding company is. All right, what is our next question that we have? If you have any questions, remember, just call in. I'm trying to look at the questions from our different platforms, but I'm not always able to go back and forth. So you can always call if you have a question. Call 678-922-1963, extension 1. Ricky Ford on YouTube says, as far as the tax write-offs, are they filed through the holding company or the operating companies if you are using the same office space and or phone services? As far as the tax write-offs, are they filed through the holding company or the operating companies? Well, typically, when you have a holding company and that holding company owns other LLCs as operating companies, all of the revenue that comes through those operating companies, all of the expenses, all of the income and expenses that run through those operating companies, they are all passed through up to the holding company. That's how you're going to do it. So when you go to your CPA or your tax accountant the next year and you have holding company number 1, let me pull up my little graph real quick to show you. If you have holding company number 1, where's my graph? There we go. Let me pull it up to show you. So when you go to your CPA the following year, I'm trying to show y'all this, hopefully you could see it. There we go. If you have holding if you go to your CPA next year and you have holding company number 1, this is your holding company, right? And then you have all of these other companies that you don't own. You own the holding company, but your holding company owns these. That means all the revenue is going to be passed through and pushed up to the holding company. So when you do your filing for taxes, it's all going to be here. That means you as the owner will be taxed on what your overall profits and losses are. The reason why this is good, because let's say if this business here makes $100,000, but this business over here is an investment property and you actually have cash flow coming in from rental property, but you have depreciation and you have losses from capital expenses and operating expenses, it's actually going to offset the $100,000 or whatever the amount of money you made over here. You may have invested money in this business and you hadn't seen a return yet because you are waiting for a year or two. That money is going to offset this money. This is why this concept makes your overall tax liability lower, because where you have more money coming here, a little bit money coming there, you got depreciation and losses there, and then you got expenses that are overwhelming there. Once it all comes here on this ledger or this balance sheet, it balances it all out, and that's one of the biggest advantages. So hopefully I answered your question. Ricky Ford on YouTube. If you have any more questions, you can type it in the comments, or the easy route, because I'm working a lot of pieces of the puzzle today, you can just call 678-922-1963. So the second common question is, how do you structure a holding company? Well, that basically answers the question with this diagram right here. This is how you structure your holding company. If you're doing it yourself, you're going to go to the Secretary of State, you're going to start an LLC, you're going to categorize that LLC as a holding company. There are some states that don't allow you to categorize it as a holding company, like you may categorize it as a salon or an apparel company or a landscaping company or a construction company. If your Secretary of State does not allow you to categorize your LLC as a holding company, it may give you like a little optional provision where you can type in what the primary purpose of your LLC is. Like, for example, when you go and get your EIN number, the IRS EIN application, it doesn't have holding company, but it has a section that says other, and that's where you're going to put what your company's purpose is as far as it being a holding company. Some states, like the state of Georgia, they actually have a category for the offices of holding companies, which is why I love how their Secretary of State business portal is set up. And this is how you're going to structure it. You're going to file your LLC, whether it's a single member or multi-member. You're going to categorize it as a holding company. If you don't have the option to categorize it, you're going to just type what the purpose is. If you don't have that option, guess what? You're going to go back to your operating agreement. That's what I showed you earlier when I pulled it up. I have an operating agreement in my blueprint game plan. Let me show you again. Let me click on my blueprint game plan and show you in my course, the holding company course right here. If you can see it, it might be smaller. I'll try to blow it up. Let me see if I can blow it up. Right here, you have, right there, you have LLC operating agreement for a multi-member. You have LLC operating agreement for a single member. And I have an operating agreement tutorial. So I walk you through the video to show you how you actually write up your operating agreement. Or you could just go to a lawyer and have a lawyer do all of that. But even if you have a lawyer or a CPA or some other company to do it, you still want to at least know what you're doing. You want to know what you're doing. And so you're going to have your holding company. Then if you selling t-shirts, if you into real estate investing, if you are producing products and services because you cut hair or you cut grass or you wrestle for a living, I don't know what you're doing. Or if you have certain products you want to license or equipment you want to license, you got a truck driving business, all of these companies are going to be owned by your holding company. That's how you properly structure a holding company. All right? So the next question I want to answer is, what is the best state to form a holding company in? What is the best state? A lot of people ask me that question. What is the best state to form your holding company in? Well, it just depends. And here's why I say it just depends. It just depends because most of the time people who form their holding companies in states like Delaware or more commonly Wyoming or Nevada, they're actually doing that because they want anonymity, which means they don't want to be known. They don't want nobody to know. So let's say, for example, if I have a company in Georgia that I'm doing business with, or let's say I have a real estate investment company and I have a rental property, but I don't want the tenants to know who the owner is, even though I have to form a LLC in Georgia to cover and to protect that particular property that I'm renting out, right? I may form a company in Wyoming or Nevada, and then once I form a company in Wyoming and Nevada, I will form a foreign entity in Georgia. Why is it foreign? Because another company from another state is coming to this state to form a company. And one of the reasons why people do that is because they don't want the tenants in this property to know who owns it. So if the tenants start looking around seeing who owns this property, well, they're going to go to the Georgia Secretary of State and realize, oh, it's another company that owns it, and most people won't even go no further. And then there are other nuances legally that give you advantages when you file in states or form your company in states like Wyoming, Nevada, or Delaware. But at the end of the day, if you don't want anonymity, you could protect your company by having a holding company, which means I got a holding company in Georgia. I got operating companies that are owned by the holding company in Georgia. But I don't need anonymity because the holding company that I own is named Ramone Preston Enterprises. So that's why I said it depends. If you want to be the brand ambassador, if you want to be the Trump, and I don't even like using him as no example. If you want to be the J.C. Penney, if you want to be the J.P. Morgan, if you want to be the brand ambassador, the Walton Enterprises, where you're using your name, anonymity means nothing. You can get protection by structuring your company like that and just by making sure you got enough insurance to cover all your companies. So a lot of times people get sophisticated. Oh, you need a Wyoming company and you need a Nevada company. For what? For what? And you using your name, or you want to be the face of your business. You're defeating the purpose. People who do that, they don't want to be known. But if you're trying to build a brand and build a business and you're the brand ambassador and you're the face of the business, anonymity is the last thing you want. You want to be known. You want people to know you. Who cares because they know you? So that's my answer to that. The next question is, what are the advantages of a holding company compared to having multiple businesses? This is going to be the last question. Man, this has been good. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. If you've enjoyed this show today, please, please hit the like button, hit the share button. Please give me some feedback. Y'all know the algorithms work that way. You got to give your boy feedback. You got to let your boy know. And guess what? All y'all that know me that don't be responding, all y'all that know me that don't be supporting, I love you anyway. I appreciate you anyway. I know a lot of people that know me that don't respond and don't support me because they just haters. They just haters. They just haters. But guess what? Haters are your motivators. Because at a certain point, they're going to have to come back around and be like, man, that's my dog there. That's my dude there. Oh, I love you, Ramone. You my boy. You my cuz. You know why they're going to do that? Because the world knows you now. See, once the world gets to know you, the people who've been knew you really love you. So I don't have a problem waiting that out because it's going to happen. It's inevitable. But in the meantime, in between time, because this show is not designed for me to throw shade, if you do not have access to our blueprint game plan, our blueprint game plan is our 5-step wealth building system that provides the most important information and training for financial literacy, for entrepreneurship, for business ownership, for investing, for family legacy wealth building. If you do not have our blueprint game plan and you want to begin training, educating yourself on forming a holding company, running a holding company, and understanding the financial part and the tax part and all the other strategic parts of running and operating a holding company. If you want to learn that, if you want to be educated in that, I want you to go to RamonePreston.com. This is the website you see behind me. You can click on the blueprint game plans that we have. We actually have 6 blueprint game plans. Our most popular, of course, is our ultimate all-in-one blueprint game plan. The reason why this is the most popular blueprint game plan is because it has all of the other 5 blueprints in one. That's why it's called the ultimate all-in-one. So this blueprint game plan has information for churches and nonprofits if you desire to start one of those. It has information for personal finances. It has information for network marketers and independent contractors. It has information for real estate investors. All of these programs are locked in one. If you just want a industry-specific blueprint game plan, you could go to RamonePreston.com. Click on one of our blueprint links. It's going to bring you to our university training program. You could click on any of our programs. If you click on it, it will literally show you all of the courses that are in it. If you click on one of the courses, like I just did earlier, it's going to show you all the courses, all the classes and modules that are in each course. So I make it real easy for you to make an educated decision on what exactly you need. Now, if you have the blueprint game plan, or if you just need more than online training and you would like to be a part of our exclusive coaching program, then I want you to consider being a part of our 1-year business coaching program. It starts on April the 1st. So we are taking individuals in right now as we speak. If you're interested in being a part of our 1-year business coaching program, I'm basically taking my whole company and I'm building a life around coaching you for 1 year. I'm rearranging my whole life and my whole company for the next year, from April 2021 to April 2022. Everybody who joins our coaching program, I'm taking 1 year, 52 whole weeks. Every week there are different interactive things that we're going to be doing in our coaching program. This whole 52-week, 1-year coaching program is going to be filled with one-on-one coaching sessions, group coaching masterminds. Some are going to be in person, some are going to be virtual. We're going to have virtual training sessions. We're going to have a lot of things that we're going to be doing, and I'm going to put a game plan together for everyone who joins this 1-year coaching program. My goal is to get everybody that is in my 1-year coaching program into 6 figures and beyond. So if you have a desire to get to 6 figures and beyond, if you have a desire to really build a legitimate organizational enterprise, if you have a desire to really take your finances to the next level, I want you to text the word coaching to 404-478-7213. Text the word coaching to 404-478-7213. 404-478-7213. We've got Christopher York on YouTube saying value overload. Thank you, Christopher. Penny Stock Investor says hit the like button. Thank you. Andre Wood says thank you for the great information. Thank you for watching, Andre. I appreciate all of you on YouTube. I appreciate all of you on Facebook. I appreciate my tribe, my family, all of you. I want to get you to where I know God wants you to be, and I want you to be educated, I want you to be trained, and I want you to be well informed. Again, if you want to join our coaching program for 1 year, can you imagine getting information from me, getting coaching from me for 1 full year, 52 weeks? We're going to be banging you out. We're going to get you to where you need to go, and it ain't no excuses. So you have to get in as soon as you possibly can. All we're asking is for an initial deposit to be made. And then once that initial deposit is made, we're going to send you a link to your initial coaching assessment form. Once you fill that out, we're going to be getting back with all of the people who have already signed up for our coaching program within the next week or 2 leading up to the first week of April. We're going to have a coaching call. We're going to go over our 1-year coaching schedule. We're going to go over our 1-year coaching agreement, and then we're going to schedule our first one-on-one session with you and begin a 52-week journey of business, finances, wealth building, financial freedom, getting you in your life, in your business, your ministry, your family to the next level. Text the word coaching to 404-478-7213. And again, all this information can be found on RamonePreston.com. Tomorrow, we'll be back. We're going to be doing some overviews on some things that I may have missed within the first 8 weeks, but I celebrate the Lord. We have done an amazing job just within 8 weeks, since we launched the Ramone Preston Show. Every Monday through Friday, 12 o'clock noon, right here live from the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta. I love y'all. I'm praying for you. I want you to have an amazing day. And